Did you know that there's something at the bottom of the Mariana Trench that scientists just can't take their eyes off of? This place is a true treasure trove of scientific sensations. Today you will learn how unprecedented creatures and unusual phenomena forced scientists to reconsider their views on the world. Get ready for stories that may change the way you think about Earth. In 2023, scientists made a discovery by finding a new bacteriophage virus in the Mariana Trench. The microorganism was found in sediment samples. Researchers found it infects bacteria. The microorganism was found in sediment samples brought up from a depth of 29,200 feet. Researchers continue to actively study this bacteriophage and have already established that it infects bacteria and reproduces inside them. This virus infects Halomonas-type bacteria, which are commonly found in the sediments of deep-sea oceans and hydrothermal vents. It's important to note that the discovered virus poses no threat to humans. As far as we know, no isolated phage has been found in the world's oceans at a greater depth to date, commented virologist Min Wang. The analysis of the new virus allowed it to be classified as VBHMH4907. According to Min Wang, the study of the phage's genetic material indicates the existence of a previously unknown viral family in the ocean. In 2021, scientists discovered a cluster of viruses in the Mariana Trench that were enormous in size, larger than even bacteria. Researchers note that giant viruses can damage mammal tissues, but there's no evidence of harm to humans. National Geographic reports scientists from Shanghai found large virus colonies in ocean sediments. Viruses, found worldwide, grow unusually large in the Mariana Trench due to extreme pressure. They belong to Acanthamoeba polyphago virus and use Acanthamoeba amoebas as hosts. Viruses have been found in other parts of the planet, but it's in the Mariana Trench, where the pressure is 1,100 times greater than atmospheric pressure, that they have reached abnormally large sizes. Viruses belong to the species Acanthamoeba polyphago virus and use Acanthamoeba amoebas as their hosts. Until October 2011, virus was thought to have the largest coopsid, about 0.02 mil in diameter. However, a larger megavirus was later discovered, Megavirus chilensis. In the Mariana Trench, the population of viruses made up about 4% of the total number of viruses. In total, they brought up 15 different types of viruses and over 100 species of other microorganisms. Besides its size, the virus stands out for its incredibly complex genome, which contains over 1.2 million base pairs. For example, the genomic sequence of the COVID-19 virus is 40 times smaller. The impact of the virus on organisms is still being studied. It's known that in some experiments, it caused tissue damage in mammals, but there's no evidence yet of its danger to humans. There's a theory suggesting that viruses have undergone reverse evolution. It's known that in some experiments, it caused tissue damage in mammals, but there's no evidence yet of its danger to humans. There's a theory that suggests viruses have undergone reverse evolution. They evolved from microbes into viruses, while retaining many functional genes. It's believed that these genes help the virus survive in the extreme conditions of great depths. The analysis showed that the giant virus can use productive genes to support its hosts, whether they are fungi or single-celled organisms, speeding up the breakdown of absorbed carbohydrates. Such accelerated metabolism and growth give hosts and viruses an edge in competition. Stay tuned, and you'll find out what other shocking discoveries scientists have made at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. In February 2024, oceanographers from the Scripps Institution of Oceanography discovered a beer bottle at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, which was an unexpected discovery and caused concern among environmentalists. The trash item somehow made its way nearly 7 miles down to the deepest point on Earth. Known as the Challenger Deep, located in the western part of the Pacific Ocean. The bottle was spotted during a dive to the bottom of the Mariana Trench using a remotely operated underwater vehicle. Notably, there was a label with a brand still stuck to the glass of the bottle. Experts emphasize that even the most remote areas of the Earth are at risk of pollution from waste. The find in the Challenger Deep confirms this assumption. After discovering the bottle, oceanographers reached out to the public, urging a change in how we treat natural resources, especially water resources. They strongly urged the international community to consider developing effective methods for cleaning the oceans and preventing further pollution. Researchers also plan to conduct an investigation to understand how the bottle ended up at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Back in 2018, Japanese marine biologists made a troubling discovery. Plastic and other inorganic waste have reached the bottom of the Mariana Trench. At a depth of 35,754 feet, a plastic bag was found. A plastic bag was found at 754 feet. The package was found to be a plastic bag. This finding vividly illustrates the scale of the ocean pollution problem, which is becoming more and more urgent each year. A team of scientists from the Japan Agency for Marine Science and Technology, led by Katsunori Fujikura, analyzed photographs and videos taken by deep-sea vehicles in the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans between 1983 and 2014. From 1983 to 2014. The results of the analysis were shocking. Plastic is found everywhere at depths over 19,500 feet. In 92% of cases, the waste consists of single-use plastic. After plastic, metal waste and rubber fragments were the most commonly found items. On average, scientists recorded between 17 and 335 pieces of plastic per square mile at depths, ranging from 3,281 to 19,500 feet. The largest amount of plastic waste was found in the North Pacific Ocean, 25 to 33%, and the Indian Ocean, 31%. And in the Indian Ocean, it was 31%. Scientists from Oregon State University in the U.S. recorded and analyzed an unusual noise coming from the Mariana Trench. This sound had an unusual broad-spectrum quality. The recording features a deep, resonant sound with low-frequency moaning notes and a high metallic ringing at the end, as described by the researchers. The team from the Hatfield Marine Science Center at OSU named this sound the West Pacific Biotwang. This sound was first recorded in October and November of 2014 during 38 dives. In 2015, 436 sounds. Then the scientists heard it again in March-April 2015, recording 436 sounds. The sound was recorded using passive acoustic ocean gliders that can operate at depths of up to 3,280 feet for several months. Each sound lasted between 2.5 to 3.5 seconds. Each sound lasted between 2.5 to 3.5 seconds, up to 3.5 seconds. And the frequency range varied from 38 to 8,000 Hz. Further research suggested that the source of the sound could be dwarf whales, small minke whales that live near the Great Barrier Reef off the northeast coast of Australia. However, this hypothesis has a weak point. The sounds made by baleen whales are usually associated with their breeding season and are primarily recorded in the winter, while the West Pacific Biotwang has been detected year-round. Recently, scientists found that radioactive carbon released into the atmosphere from nuclear explosions in the 20th century has reached the deepest layers of the ocean. Researchers from the Chinese Academy of Sciences and Guangzhou found traces of radioactive carbon in the muscle tissue of crustaceans living in the Mariana Trench. Although it takes hundreds of years for carbon-14 to spread through ocean circulation to reach the deepest trench, the food chain speeds up this process, the scientists explained. Carbon-14 is a radioactive isotope of carbon that forms naturally in the atmosphere when cosmic radiation interacts with nitrogen. It's found in most living organisms and is used to determine the age of archaeological and geological samples. The thermonuclear tests conducted in the 1950s and 60s led to an increase in carbon-14 levels in the atmosphere as neutrons from atomic bombs reacted with nitrogen in the air. The level of carbon-14 peaked in the mid-1960s and then began to decline after the cessation of atmospheric nuclear tests. After the tests, carbon quickly spread through the atmosphere and made its way into the ocean. Since then, scientists have started to observe an increase in carbon-14 levels in marine organisms, right after the nuclear tests began. A large amount of methylmercury, a highly toxic compound that can accumulate in living organisms, has built up at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Ecologists reported this at the Goldschmidt International Scientific Conference in 2020. Scientists used the Deep Sea Warrior submersible to dive into the Mariana Trench and collect samples of water, sediment, and small crustaceans from depths of 3.5 to 6 miles. All the samples contain mercury in very high concentrations, which surprised the scientists, as it was previously thought that mercury only concentrated in the upper layers of the ocean. Experts noted that only a small fraction of the mercury found was due to natural processes, like volcanic activity or wildfires. The majority of the mercury was formed as a result of human activities, including burning coal and oil, as well as iron ore mining. During these processes, mercury enters the atmosphere and then into the waters of the world's oceans. There, it transforms into methylmercury, which is actively absorbed by marine algae. These algae become food for marine creatures, and as they move up the food chain, the toxic compound can eventually end up in the human body. The expedition, organized by specialists from the University of California, San Diego, in collaboration with engineers from National Geographic, discovered a population of single-celled xenophyophores. Xenophyophores, also known as foreign body carriers, are giant deep-sea ameidae that are among the largest single-celled organisms in the world. These protozoans live in the deepest parts of the ocean, and scientists know little about them because their fragile bodies are difficult to collect for study. These microorganisms can come in various shapes and sizes, resembling spherical sponges, feathery sponges, tetrahedrons, or flat discs. Xenophyophores are essentially clumps of cytoplasm, of a viscous substance that includes nuclei. These organisms secrete thread-like structures that resemble glue, which attach to various elements in their environment, such as minerals or skeletal remains, forming a protective shell called a test. Xenophyophores crawl along the ocean floor like slugs, and they have no natural predators. Amphipods are small crustaceans found throughout the ocean, but one species, Hierondelia gigas, lives in the deep Mariana Trench. Hierondelia gigas is a creature that feeds on fallen trees. They consume voraciously. An enzyme in their gut may aid ethanol production. These organisms can go a long time without food, but when they find something to eat, they gobble up everything they can and get completely full. These amphipods produce an enzyme in their gut that can digest wood, which scientists believe may play a role in ethanol production. Ethanol, in turn, is used to produce medicines, plastics, and cosmetics. Holothurians, also known as glowing sea cucumbers, are an interesting example of marine creatures that are closely related to starfish and sea urchins. These animals, although they look like vegetables, actually belong to the animal kingdom. Sea cucumbers have a unique defense mechanism. In case of danger, they contract their muscles and expel their internal organs through their anus. Sea cucumbers that live in the deep trenches of the earth have a bright purple color and transparency. One of the most famous deep-sea cucumbers is called the headless chicken monster. Although it may seem frightening, watching the movements of this unusual species in the water creates the impression of a strange yet graceful underwater dance. The Mariana snailfish is a record holder among fish ever found in the Mariana Trench. Scientists caught this fish at a depth of 8,350 meters below sea level, and they estimate that the maximum depth at which it can exist is 27,723 feet. This species of snail has adapted to life under extreme pressure and complete darkness. The fish has transparent skin, is blind, and plays an important role in the food chain of the Mariana Trench, being one of the main predators. A trench is a narrow and deep depression on the ocean floor that often stretches along the boundaries of tectonic plates. The Mariana Trench, also known as the Mariana Abyss, is located in the western part of the Pacific Ocean, about 124 miles east of the Mariana Islands. The Mariana Trench is the deepest oceanic structure on Earth. The deepest point of the Mariana Trench, known as the Challenger Deep, reaches a depth of 36,201 feet. The maximum depth in this part of the trench is 36,192 feet. 36,192 feet. Despite the low water temperature, ranging from 34 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit, it's the immense pressure that makes this area extremely dangerous for research. The pressure here is 1,000 times greater than normal atmospheric pressure at sea level. The Mariana Trench has long captured the attention of scientists from all over the world. It will take many more years and effort to reveal all of its secrets. But the desire to explore these depths remains unchanged. And now, friends, I want to make you a very interesting offer. You have a unique opportunity to become part of our team. If you have video editing skills, can voice videos in Russian, English, and other languages, or write interesting scripts, we will be glad to work with you. Message our Telegram bot. The link is in the description. That's all for today, everyone. Goodbye.